We welcome you, everyone, for our second um, part episode. Today, we would like to discuss very interesting, very practical, and very useful topic about the emotional intelligence. But before that, let's discuss what we did on this weekend because it's also quite interesting. So Aikirin, please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, if we consider Friday as a weekend, on Friday I went to a ballet show. Yeah, it was a nice thing to do. I went there alone. Usually I don't mind going to concerts, ballets, sometimes even the movies alone, because it's the part of an adult life, I think, because not everyone has the same schedule as you do or interests. So yeah, I just got used to like doing things on my own, or how it's like popular and trendy to say nowadays, going on a date with myself. Yeah, but it was a great experience. It wasn't like a full ballet show. Those were um, like two different parts of, no, like one part of each performance, like of Swan Lake and Walpurgis Night. I've never seen Walpurgis Night before, but it was such a nice one. Even though I could just take a quick little sneak peek, I think I'm gonna watch the full show next time.
I've never been in ballet, so I have the question for you. I know that most of the classical pieces have like several parts. So is it the same in the ballet? It's like the first movement, the second movement, or what are the parts you were talking about?
Yeah, it's like several pieces playing in the first act and several pieces in the second act. So like even in Swan Lake, obviously it's Tchaikovsky's works, right? And they play all of the parts, just how they would play it in the concert. It's just like they stage the dances in accordance with the music.
So basically, that time it was just the part of the ballet, or not the whole performance.
Yes, the Swan Lake Ballet consists of two acts. Usually there is a small break in between two acts. So they only stage the first act. And the second act is where the Black Swan appears. Yeah, but we didn't have that part. And I think they also cut out several characters from the performance. Maybe they didn't have enough dancers, but I remember when I watched the recording of the Swan Lake Ballet from the Bolshoi Theater, they had many more dancers and actors on stage and a lot of characters. But it still was nice because they danced the main parts, and that's what's important.
Nice. Yeah, I can add to that today I went to the art gallery. They had the paintings of Claude Monet. I'm actually not really into art because I don't get the art. I'm more into music and stuff. But when I was taking the course on Coursera about classical music, they were also showing like how music changes throughout the time. But it wasn't just music, but was other pieces of art as well, including paintings. So Claude Monet is basically considered as one of the founders of Impressionism, the new style of art, where before they have like classical paintings where everything was really realistic, like to small details, everything. It's just like taking a picture. But his works are completely different. His works doesn't have all the small details. It's also very interesting that from when you see it from a bit far away, it looks like the photograph. But when you get closer, you actually see that it's a painting. So most of them about nature. He has like different colors, and he was critiqued for that. Was saying like, why your snow is like purple? It should be, I don't know, gray. As I was saying, not really into paintings, but when I saw his paintings on this course, I was like, wow, this guy was a genius. They weren't accepted because they were quite different, and these famous critics were saying that it's like children's paintings because it's not detailed, so not fully developed. No, they seemed like that, but when I was in this gallery and I was reading the descriptions, during his life, not after the death, he was quite famous. Everyone was buying his paintings, and he was recognized eventually.
That's a great thing to know, because I feel so bad when artists like live creating their artworks, but then they never get the recognition they deserve, and only after their death, like they get some sort of a recognition. What was the name of this? There was a song. Okay, yeah, maybe you know, it's called "Stay With Me" by Miki Matsubara. It was the song became very popular, like "Stay with me, na 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 na." Like this is a very like 80s Japanese song, but during her life, it wasn't like, it was like one of the greatest songs that she created, but she always believed that she wasted her time on her career as a singer, because she thought that I could have just like spent all of this time with my close friends and family, and like she was so sad and frustrated by that idea. But when she passed, and like a few years ago, her song became so popular, I feel like it's a bit sad that she didn't see how her song impacted people on such a deep level, because even though the song sounds very poppy, you know, very catchy and happy, but people say that the lyrics are actually quite sad. Yeah, that's the thing with a lot of Japanese songs that I noticed. But
Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's and it's also very common, I think, when the creators are not recognized during their lifetime. So, I think Bach was also not recognized properly. Now he's considered as a genius. Well,
Yeah.
and you don't really know how they felt. Maybe he felt the same, like he wasted his time. Or maybe he truly believed that this is the music that has to be created. And he was like true to his values. I think if it's like that, then good for him.
Yeah, I really hope so, because yeah, some people just think ahead of their time, maybe because maybe at that time people couldn't relate to these people's works, right? I think, yeah, art is appreciated based on the context of time you're living in. Remember, there was just like a black square as an art piece, and it became so popular because it was like the context, the time context was right. A lot of people were in desperation at those times, and yeah, just that one black square represented their whole life at that time. That's why it was a huge success. So yeah, just like with jokes, art also has a time and place to be.
Yeah, and it's also true for the business products, because I remember when I was studying with my master's degree, we were discussing like product design. So they were saying that it should have like the right time, because sometimes the products not understood by the general public. So that's why they're not getting like the wholesales and stuff.
Yeah, it's so sad that after all, it's just all about business. Because yeah, you really don't want art to be equated to something like so capitalist driven, right? Because it has to come through your heart, right, and through your mind. But
Yeah,
unfortunately, yeah, we are living in the system, and yeah, everything has to be capitalized. So yeah.
I think another product that also can be added to this list is the 91 boy band. I think when they were like founded in 2015, our like Kazakh population was not ready for them. The market was not ready. They were highly like hated, not supported, although their message, their ideas is exactly what we need. Like promotion of the Kazakh language is exactly what we need. Considering the context that we are mostly Russian speaking country, and more and more Kazakh language is not really needed for you. For example, when you apply for a job, no one's asking, and it's okay if you don't know the language. You get the service at restaurants everywhere in Russian. Totally fine.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a pity.
But it's good that they get the recognition now. It's also very cool that they like foreign people, not Kazakh, they say that your songs basically bring the love for the Kazakh language.
Okay.
Yeah, so and they start to learn the language. So that's the whole, actually their idea, to wake up this love for the language. Because at that time, at 2015, Kazakh language was considered as not cool, as I remember.
Yeah.
It was considered lame. All the Kazakh songs were super lame. Only like they were on our celebrations, weddings and stuff. Songs for older generations, for like dads
For
and
the boomers.
grandmas. Yeah, no one cared. And it was like, why you're singing in Kazakh language? That's stupid. But they knew.
Yeah, even when I applied for the university, yeah, some people were saying, "Oh, why did you choose like the language of instruction, as Kazakh language? Why didn't you choose Russian?" And I was like, I don't know. I studied in Kazakh my whole life, so that's why I guess I chose it. And yeah, it was so unpopular, but I think it's also because of the global problems that are happening now that also affected the popularity of the Kazakh language. So yes, everyone seems to be so eager to learn the Kazakh language. Actually, speaking of 91, my friend Ellen recently showed me a Telegram channel created by a Ukrainian girl, and she translates, or she tries to teach Kazakh in Ukrainian. Like she speaks Kazakh, and she's like her whole channel is dedicated to Kazakh language, And she even translated a 91 song from Kazakh to Ukrainian. So that's so beautiful, because I've seen, yeah, it's so inspiring. I've seen like Kazakh to English, Kazakh to Russian, like, but Kazakh to Ukrainian, that was the first time I saw something like that. So it's very unique, and I really appreciate that people are taking interest in our language and culture. And also 91, I remember even in 2016 or something like that, they weren't like, they were popular in Kazakhstan, but they were like, oh, it's just that band that copies the K-pop bands, right? But they became a huge success, I think, in the West. A lot of people from the West, even Asian people, they were reacting to their music videos, and they're like, oh, they're so great. Like, that's, their voices are beautiful, the visual is great, and everything, like the music is fantastic too. And they were also trying to like understand the meaning behind the lyrics, because at that time I think the translations were quite limited. But anyways, like they showed like a huge interest. Same with Dimash Kudaibergen, by the way, right? Yeah, so sad that our artists have to be recognized outside our country first before they get to be recognized in Kazakhstan.
Yeah, I remember like I was also the part of the group that was not really supporting them, because let's face it, we were not always tolerant. We were not always open-minded. We're from typical school, so of course we had like some conservative values, and we also didn't understand it. We also thought that why they're like bleaching their hair, dyeing their hair, why it looks atrocious.
To be fair, it did look atrocious a little bit, though.
Yeah, it was too extra, but I think it's also was like a strategic move to catch the attention from everyone. And even it wasn't like the very it wasn't always the good attention.
Yeah. It's like I recently saw a short video, and it was a girl explaining that at the early stages of your career as an artist, you have to have some sort of I don't know, feature that makes you stand out from the crowd. And the same with Ice Spice, like this new singer or rapper. I'm not sure what she does because I've never really been into her songs, but she has like this big orange afro, right? And that's what makes her stand out, and people remember her just by looking at her orange afro, right? Because nobody else has it, like from the current artists. Maybe they did the same, like, so that, oh,
Yeah,
it's the guy with the orange hair. I remember him.
yeah, and I think once they catch their attention, for instance, like now we like them, even though we didn't like almost 10 years ago. So
Yeah.
you basically start to listen to their music. And what I really liked, I didn't really like the genre. I mean, at that time, I liked more like calm, slow music with just some acoustic guitar and stuff. And their music is very like dancey and uh, pop. There are lots of rap, which I also didn't really like. But what made me really like them now is it's like their real lyrics, because they're so beautiful. I mean, they use some very interesting words. They put it very like delicately, I would say, and the meaning is also very deep. So basically, and it hits you like a lot to the heart. So yeah, that's why I changed my preferences because of them.
I see. Um, yeah, that's nice. I had like one thought, but it slipped my mind. But anyways, I've to be fair, I've never been a huge fan of the genre of the music they produce, so I don't really listen to their songs that often. But I am really proud of how far they went so far, and I will still support them, even though I don't really like I
Yeah,
can't really appreciate their art.
yeah,
So yeah, because in general they're even unproblematic, right? As human beings as well. Just
yeah.
so why not?
Continuing this conversation, they know that their audience quite young. They know that they're mostly students of schools or
Mm,
universities, so that's why they try to uh, mm, get them like good messages. For example, in their last album, they had the song about domestic abuse. It wasn't really like
mm,
totally about domestic abuse, but the message was there that you have to love your family and stuff. And when I
mhm,
went to the concert this summer, they said that we're not supporting any domestic abuse, so we are for love and stuff. And also
mhm,
at that concert, they had this as a sponsors the Otpası Bank. It is our bank that
mhm,
mostly is known for like more or less affordable mortgages, and they
mhm,
collaborated with them, and now they're putting the videos with them about the financial uh, literacy.
fine. Oh,
Yeah, so they're trying to show the young generation that financial literacy is very important,
mhm.
and they are also like ambassadors, or I don't know, of UN with the
UNICEF?
children. Yeah, UNICEF.
UNICEF.
Yeah,
Mhm,
and I think they went there and also talked about the bullying, because they were bullied
mm.
as well during the first when they were launched. So
Yeah,
they
cyberbullying.
they're raising the important topics. They're not
Mhm.
talking about that women shouldn't get the abortion as some other artists do,
Yeah.
but still uh, they also support this artist as well who talked about abortion. I mean, he appeared
Mm.
in their stories, and they were saying like, you should go to his concert. And I was like,
Oh,
why?
wait, who is he? Who is this artist?
Жигунусов.
Do I know him?
Miras.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not really aware of most of the drama that happens in this like entertainment world, not even just in Kazakhstan, but globally. And most of the time when I somehow get this information, I receive it, how do you say it, like unwillingly. I receive it without my consent. Usually, sometimes when you scroll TikTok, I'm like,
Mm.
oh my God, Bella Hadid. And then you scroll Instagram, oh my God, Jada. Yeah, Jada Smith.
Ah,
Oh my God.
yeah.
So much information that came out of her mouth traumatized me for life. And I was like, can I forget it? Can I like no, was a Men in Black it just so I can uh, forget it for life. And yeah, because some of the things are truly embarrassing. And yeah, and it's such a pity that like the media space is wasted on such types of articles. By the way, did you see the official research was done? An official research was done, and they said that people who know a lot or they're very invested in like celebrity gossip, they statistically have lower IQ than other people.
Oh, that's brutal.
Um, Very brutal. But I feel like I'm not sure whether it's true because I guess I haven't come across people who are like, oh my God, this celebrity did that and that one did that. I've never seen this kind of people, but maybe they do exist. And yeah, but
Maybe it's
that was interesting.
correlation, not the causation.
Yeah, yeah.
When you spend lots of time on that kind of issues, you have less time to like read other stuff. So
Yeah.
it might get some impact.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now we would like to jump to our star topic of this episode is we're going to talk about emotional intelligence. We think that it's very important, fundamental, necessary, I don't know, significant, crucial. All the synonyms I know.
You're just opening the thesaurus and reading all the synonyms of the word important at
Yeah,
this point.
we can't highlight how important it is. So we would like to share some knowledge that we know. So I will start.
Yeah,
I
sure.
was actually studying some courses on Coursera about the emotional intelligence, but I started to know more, I think, in my master's degree as well, at one of the courses, because they were saying that emotional intelligence actually is very crucial for the leadership, one of the like important skills. So basically, the important part is it's not only about empathy, and it is a skill. It's not like inherent trait. So you basically can learn it and improve it and work on it. You just have to like know how and practice, basically. It consists of four main like blocks. The two blocks about like you, and the two blocks about the society, let's say. So the first two blocks about self-awareness and self-regulation basically means how you know, how you can recognize your emotions within yourself, self-awareness. It's not as easy as it sounds. Like I think most of us, we don't do like these reflections. We don't really like think about what kind of emotions we had during some like situations and times. So it is about how to learn, like be self-aware. The second part is about self-regulation. Once you know what do you feel, now you have to like see how you can regulate it. It means sometimes we do or say stuff emotionally, but later on we didn't really mean that. So it's not like controlling yourself always. It's just trying to prevent some things that you wish you wouldn't like do, but because of the emotions you did. So it's not like trying to not be angry and stuff. You will be angry, but you just have to deal with it. So
is it like so damage control?
Yeah,
Like
and it's also like important for you as well, not just for like other people surrounding you. The last two blocks, they're almost the same, but now it's about like social awareness and social acceleration. So that means once you know how you can once you can recognize your emotions, now you can understand other people's emotions. That's the social awareness. And the social acceleration, it's how you can help them, I think, give some comfort or maybe help them thrive. It's about this.
I see. Yeah, I was even taking notes on what you were saying actually, because that was really interesting. About the self-awareness and self-regulation part. Remember, I don't remember whether it was you who sent me that TikTok, but it was about pain, like when someone hurts you, right? You choose to be hurt, right? It's not like it's like someone else inflicting the pain on you emotionally, right? But you are choosing to be hurt instead, because you always have a choice to be hurt or not be hurt. So what do you think about that? Is it a valid argument?
When I started to like study more about the emotional intelligence, the more I study, the more I get confused. I think I get the clarity, but I also get confused. So because they are teaching you, I think, maybe techniques sometimes, or give some definitions, but they're not saying what is right and what is wrong. And in some context, they might say it, but in the context of work. That's the course I'm taking. It's about the emotional intelligence at work.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but this
I think this is so difficult.
I don't really like this like narrative saying that you can choose, because what I learned is that emotions they're happening instantly. Like it's more of an instinct, or maybe it's the what your mind has taught you, like themselves throughout your life. So basically, you develop some responses for certain situations, and this response cannot really be changed. Like the fear or anger, it will happen, it will be triggered. But what you can change is your response, basically, how you will deal with the situation. I think it also depends on the situation. Sometimes you just have to accept that, for example, that specific person who is annoying, you should just accept him as annoying as he is, because he's not going to change. And it is easier for you to accept the fact that, well, okay, he's annoying, what can I do? And it maybe at that time you're choosing not to get hurt by his like behavior. It also depends on the things that they do. Sometimes if you develop your empathy properly, you will see why they're doing this, and you will try to understand, and you will not get frustrated that much, because once you get frustrated, you then talk to yourself, you analyze it, think about it, and then you give the proper response. But in other cases, I can't say that you always have to do the work yourself. I think in some cases, these people should be told that it's not really polite, or it's not really correct. It's insensitive to do or say this. So there should be some kind of regulation from their side as well. Like we regulate ourselves, we try to not like affect negatively most of the people surrounding us, because we don't have bad intentions. Probably they don't have bad intentions as well, but they should know when people get hurt, I think. and they should do something
100%.
about it. It's not always you who should choose not to get hurt.
Yeah,
I
that's
hate
true.
this.
Yeah, that's true. I think it also puts some sort of unrealistic expectations that no matter what people say to you, you must always stay strong, right? You must always, I don't know, like present yourself as if it didn't affect you, but in reality it does. And again, you're just like closing yourself off of this, like from this world, and it's not healthy, because now I think we're being taught to be more expressive of our emotions maybe and our experiences, because a lot of people have been dealing with like depression and anxiety for the longest time because of those expectations, right? To always appear happy, or at least not appear unhappy. So yeah, I think it does make sense. But yeah, at the same time though, a lot of people from our generation, from like Generation Z, right, gets this comment that our generation is the most sensitive. And how do you feel personally about that?
I also really hate this kind of like, I think, narrative messages, because people, they were always sensitive, but just they were living with it. They were not like standing up for themselves. They were not protecting their like boundaries. They have to live up to some social expectations that if you heard some toxic joke, you have to laugh at it or just shut up and not say that it's improper, because you will ruin everyone's mood here. You will ruin the mood of that person who like to talk whatever they want. Why their mood is getting ruined is more important than mood of other people who get offended by this joke. I don't get it at all. So the similar situation happened actually at the workplace. Like we went to other place to hang out, and there was some very insensitive joke, and I was like shouting, saying that you should stop saying this because it's uncomfortable. And some people got pissed for me because I ruined everyone's mood. But it was ruined already by that stupid joke. But they don't get it. They think that that people are more important. I don't like not getting the joke that you should get it because everyone's getting it. You should be chill. You should be accepting. No one is saying it of they are bad. I agree, no one is bad, but it also doesn't make me bad for not liking this joke.
Yeah, I think there's also so much hypocrisy, because those people who get offended at you not accepting their joke, they'll be the first in line to be offended by other things that you might say, right? Same with like the topic of feminism, for example. If you say, I don't like this joke because it doesn't sound so funny, like for me personally, I laugh at a lot of jokes. Even if they're like from dark humor segment, right? I laugh at them because it was a very witty and like smart joke, right? That's why I can laugh at it, because there is some like you have to be able to understand it. It's just so funny. But if the stupid is just stupid, the joke is so stupid, and you're like, okay, like you wish that person like have never told that joke, because there's no point in saying that if it's not even that funny. It's just offensive. And yeah, they will be like, oh, but that's just a joke, why don't you just laugh? Because it's unfunny, like it's truly unfunny. And they will be the one to get offended if you say something like, okay, you know, like, but for example, this thing is important, why don't we talk about that? And they're like, no, I don't think that it's important, and actually you just made that thing up. Like it's like, I don't know, it's like double standards. So you have to laugh at their unfunny jokes, but they will be unwilling to accept your ideas, or maybe same like jokes, right? They say some sort of a sexist joke to you, you have to laugh, but you do the same, and they're like, but that's not true. Like my fragile masculinity is hurt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one final thing. I think now I don't come across that sort of like people that much, so I haven't been seeing that a lot, but I do acknowledge the fact that they still exist, and that's what's frustrating.
Yeah, I think also the main reason for that happening is because no one sees them as the bad guy, actually. So when you say that the thing you did hurt me, they don't get it because they didn't have the intention to hurt you. So they try to be defensive. They try to say, no, it wasn't like that, or devalue your emotions, saying that because they feel uncomfortable themselves getting like told. To get rid of that uncomfortable feelings, they would do everything. They would blame you. They would gaslight you, saying that
Go
it's
the
your
extra
problem.
mile.
Yeah, you should get it. Why you're not getting it? You're wrong. Like you're some kind of, you're too sensitive. Don't
You're
be
the
too
Debbie
sensitive.
Downer.
Yeah, because you're making me uncomfortable. But instead of like, but otherwise, if we don't tell them we're not really liking these kind of jokes, how they would know that it's proper or improper to say? So basically, like we have to tell, but they have to accept it as well and adjust their topics, maybe of their jokes, or try to understand that oh, these kind of situations might trigger other people.
Yeah. I see another side of this coin, though. Not to say that it's happening, for example, here in Kazakhstan, but I've been seeing that happening a lot in the US specifically, maybe in the UK too, Canada. But I do get why people over there are saying that our generation is extremely sensitive, like too sensitive, because I think it also builds like such a bad image for other people who are more sensible. And sometimes I also get upset by these types of people. I'm not sure if you've seen this one, but there was a TikTok of this girl saying she basically was doing a job interview or something like that, or it was the first day at her new job. And she asked the question to the manager, like, are there any accommodations for time blindness? Like, how would you even understand the word time blindness?
Being always late.
Yeah, exactly. And she was like, oh, I struggle with like recognizing what time it is and etc. So are there any accommodations for people like me? And then the manager got mad and said, like, there is no such thing as time blindness, and you should always be on time for your job. And yeah, she obviously got really upset and made this video about the situation. And I think that's like the other extreme where we shouldn't go and shouldn't support. So I hate that when people use this argument against you, well, you're being too sensitive, they like they're so quick to go to the other extreme and use it as an example to attack you. So it's very important to draw this line, like, no, there are things that are rational and there are things that are insensible. So like, just, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I think you shouldn't always prioritize your emotions. I mean, no, I mean, your emotions and well-being, of course, is very important. And if it is not prioritized by you, no one will prioritize it. But still, you have to like understand why some certain emotions, from where they're coming from, and then you will see, is it like rational or not? Maybe you will realize that no. So basically, your emotions doesn't give you permission to do whatever you want, to be victim all the time, to like blaming everyone.
Yeah.
You have them, but the on this self-regulation part, you have to like rationalize it, talk with yourself, think about it, and yeah. And when you will talk to other people about this, it's better to like present it gently, I think, because at the end of the day, if you are like trying to talk about your emotions with, you're usually talking with the people who is important for you, or who you don't want them to get hurt. So that's why, even though they were wrong, even though they get you mad, angry, maybe it's for the best to think about it and try to like express it in a way that would also be acceptable for them. I mean, because at one of the courses, I took the smaller course. It was, I didn't know, but it was for teachers at school about emotional intelligence. Yeah. And they were saying that, for example, if your students you see that they feel depressed or angry, before approaching them and asking how and helping them, right, you also have to self-regulate yourself. Are you ready to go and help them, to listen to them? So if you are frustrated by their behavior, you shouldn't approach them being frustrated, because you'll probably just shout at them and say that you are not behaving properly, you're not respecting me, and they will just shut down. So especially in the case of the kids, you have to firstly get this self-awareness, identify what kind of emotions do you feel right now. Then you have to, if you need to calm down, you have to do some, there are also some techniques like maybe positive self-talk. If you feel let's say anxious or stressed about exam, I don't know, anything, you can do the positive self-talk, saying that you can do this. It actually works. You can also identify what kind of things makes you calm. For example, I noticed that music just helps me with getting my mind cleared. So maybe deep breath, maybe music, whatever works for you. Once you like think about it and calm down, then you are ready to approach that kid and ask him. And of course, the major part of this, like their social acceleration, is listening. So you're not straight up like giving advice. You just have to listen, understand the situation from their perspective. like practice your empathy. And then you should I think they were saying that you should also ask them, do you need advice? Or maybe we can bring up something. And then you're not giving the advice yourself, you're asking, what do you think you can do in this kind of situation? First, they have to think about it. And then you come up together. But it's not the job of one person saying, well, listen, I heard what you said, but I think you should do this, this, this. You should be calm, be quiet.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
That's true. Yeah, it's also some people don't want like your type of help. Maybe they're looking for something else in that certain situation. That happened to me too. I think you remember that phase of mine when I felt like very, I wouldn't say depressed, but really it was a difficult, period of time for me. And at that time, my friend tried to offer me some help without actually asking me what I want to do. And even though I was very quite vocal about like everyone leaving me alone and giving just me some space for the time being, maybe like a couple of days, a week, even that, just to process everything. They didn't listen to me, and they tried to push their help like actively on me. And I remember I tried to pretend as if their help is making me happier because I didn't want to offend them. But at the end of the day, as soon as we finished and like I went back to my room, I was like, I actually feel a lot worse now because I spent so much like emotional energy just to make sure like I appear happy in their eyes receiving their help. And it actually made me feel worse, and I couldn't it was difficult. So my advice to everyone, just listen to your close people and actually ask them first what they really need. Some people might be difficult. It's true. Maybe they might be hesitant receiving someone's help because maybe they have some trust issues. It can be that, but maybe try to look into what kind of people they are, because usually I'm a very open person. I usually always try to communicate what I feel at the time, what I need. I don't have any problems with that. And it was just so I guess it was a bit sad that that friend of mine didn't recognize what I really needed at that time. So
I think in that kind of situations, people tend to think that they know better what is best. But it's not, everything is not from our perspective. Like our perspective might be totally different from the perspective of other people. So you should just like accept as it is, even though you think that you will need this type of help in that similar situation, doesn't mean that they need it. So basically, you should give these people more credit for what they want or don't. If you want to be there for them, just say it. I will be there for you even if you need anything, and just be there. Don't try to fix things. Firstly, it's not your responsibility to fix these things. And secondly, if they're not ready to accept it, maybe they should do it by themselves. So they're a grown-up person. People, come on, why you should do this for them? And I think most of the time when people are complaining about something or saying their issues that make them anxious, they just need closure. They just need something like, I hear you, I get it, I understand. It will be all right, or something, just getting the validation of your emotions, that you're not crazy to feel that kind of emotions. You just have to say, yeah, this is totally understandable. I totally get it. You're not crazy. That's it. You don't have to
Yeah.
fix anything. You don't have to say, go break up with you.
Exactly. Yeah. No, because we also had some rough patches in our friendship, and I remember like you being frustrated with me, and I like was frustrated with you at some point in time. But what's important is to communicate like clearly. Okay, I'm not happy with what you said at that time, right? So yeah, just be like more, I guess, sensible and just considerate of my situation, and that's it. Yeah, you don't need to make it into a whole drama, right? And like, oh no, I just really wanted to help you, but you didn't appreciate my help and things like that. You don't need to be you don't need to get defensive, right, in that situation. What's important is if you messed up, you should, yeah, what was that like,
Face it.
yes, like hold accountability, right? Take the accountability and recognize that you really did mess up. Just apologize and move on. Like no one's gonna die from that. So yeah. And
But
yeah,
it's really difficult.
it's difficult. Yeah. I'm also the type of a person who it's very hard for me to recognize that I did something wrong, because I am a perfectionist in some
Same.
cases. Yeah. And it is difficult, but you really have to like just, yeah, you really have to accept it. There is no other way. Otherwise, you cannot move on from that point and you're just stuck being unhappy.
Yeah.
Everyone's unhappy.
Yeah. Sometimes we think that what other people are feeling is wrong and something should be right. And there is one right way. Come
Yeah.
on, just forget about what is right and wrong. Specifically, this person, if they feel bad, it, they they have the right to feel bad, even if it's wrong in this kind of situation. You never know their background, why they feel that way. It's also like the behavioral be the pattern that they have developed throughout their life. So you can't really argue with that and say, no, you should be like this. You shouldn't get mad at this kind of situations because I was right. You can,
Yeah, yeah. Even if it turns out that you are the best advice giver, there is always, yeah, the right time and place for the sort of advice, pieces of advice or recommendations. And you might give your piece of advice to that person in case they ask your opinion, right? Ask for your opinion, but it doesn't mean that that person now is obligated to follow your advice, because that's their life and they are the one who yeah, choose to follow like follow your advice or not.
I
Is
think we
that
can continue later on. If you're interested in maybe techniques, how to recognize your emotions and stuff like that, we will continue that at the next time. Thanks.
yeah, thank you so much. So you know where to follow us, leaving all the links and everything here on this video and down below too. So make sure to follow, like, subscribe, comment, and all that beautiful stuff to make us feel better about doing this thing.
Hit the notification bell.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. And see you again next time. Bye.